Sorry, Mickey. Just give us our money back and you can keep your caravan.
Why the fuck do I want a caravan? It's got no fucking wheels. You're gonna sell us and fight.
Oh, my dead body, anyway. Go on, go on.
Man.
Have you fight,
Okay,
Mickey?
now, we
You
won't.
know
We're
what
selling some other
happens
way.
when you fight.
You need to sit down. Give us a sit down. Fuck's sake.
Snatch is a film that came out in 2000 that's written and directed by Guy Ritchie. So Snatch is a $50 picture request from Mitchy, my friend from the land down under. And he's an incredibly wholesome dude. I love that he serves as the emotional centerpiece, the wholesome centerpiece of the Discord chat. The moment he leaves the Discord chat is the moment that I quit YouTube. By the way, if you want to join the Discord chat, $5 a month on Patreon will get you access to the Discord. $1 a month will give you access to bi-weekly polls you can vote on. Anyway, enough shameless shilling. Snatch is a film that I've heard about for years. I've known about this film's existence for at least 6 or 7 years. It just comes up all the time in film conversation. But it's just one of those unfortunate things where I just hadn't made time for it. But I've never seen a Guy Ritchie film either. This is the very first Guy Ritchie film that I've ever seen. And I've heard a lot about this guy. Not in terms of how he goes about filmmaking. I just hear about what people think of his films in terms of is it good or bad. And now, after finally seeing Snatch, I actually think it's kind of awesome. And that kind of surprised me because, let me say this. Once I witnessed the opening title action sequence, I thought there was a gigantic chance that I really wasn't going to like this film. And that's just because it seemed apparent that this film was going to have that kind of high energy and hyper stylized type of approach to filmmaking in terms of its editing, in terms of its sound, especially in terms of editing. And it just reminded me a lot of a Tony Scott film where the style within the filmmaking is just bombastic and it just feels like it's trying way too hard to be cool. But I'd definitely say that after the first 15 minutes of this film, it started to slowly grow on me. And then by the end of it, I just thought it was an awesome experience. I had so much fun with this film. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that after the first 15 minutes, I think a lot of the style was dialed back just a little bit, especially compared to the opening action sequence of this film. It's definitely this entire film is hyper stylized, but as the film progressed, I found the fun in it and the comedy and the characters and the dialogue. It all just started clicking for me because those are really the film's highest qualities in terms of why it's so entertaining and so much fun to watch, because God knows that people don't watch it for the story because the story is insanely convoluted and I feel like is intentionally confusing and difficult to follow, because as you're watching this film, you could tell that the filmmaker really didn't have any regard to allow the audience to follow this plot properly, just because it kind of jumps between different characters and storylines that some of them are more closely related and some of them, for the longest time, you don't see how that relates to anything that's happening within the central plot of this film that has to do with a valuable diamond. But honestly, I didn't really give a shit about me not following the plot at all, because I was just having so much fun watching these characters interact, just laughing my ass off at all this ridiculous but memorable dialogue in this film. And I remember when I was watching this film, Mitchy sent me a text asking me if I was watching it with subtitles. And I was like, no, I'm not. Should I watch it with subtitles? And he was like, just wait. And I was like, all right. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, Brad Pitt's character comes on screen.
Where's your back to live? Can't you talk? You look like a boxer. Do you like dogs?
Dags.
What?
Yeah, Dags.
Dogs. Do you like dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Save your breath for could your parts. Hey, look. She wants a heck of 2 roof lights. The stylish house frame furniture. And the Scotter cushions with the matching shack by cover.
And I'm like, And Brad Pitt's character in this film was quite brilliant. Honestly, it's probably one of his more underrated performances that I don't think enough people really talk about, and maybe that's because it's more of a comedic role, but he knocks it out of the park in this film. Not only is he just hilarious as his character, but goddamn, the way that he's able to pull off that slurred and unpronounced Irish accent in this film is beyond me. And just a type of convincing energy that he brings to the role is what kind of brings his character to life and just makes it so much fun to watch. Every second that he's on screen, it's like he just steals the show. But I do warn you, he's actually not in this film all that much. Like, he has decent screen time and everything, but the way that the posters kind of market him being in this film, he's not really a central character to it. He's more of like a side character that has a decent amount of screen time. But damn, is it just a joy to see him on screen in this film. But yeah, I can't hit home the point enough about how stylistic this film is, because it's so full of stylistic energy and comedic energy. Again, not only through the dialogue and the characters, but through the editing. There's a nice handful of jokes that are presented to you through the editing style of this film. And honestly, a vast majority of it works. I'd say there's only maybe a small amount of comedic attempts in this film that didn't really work for me. But this film just throws so much at you, and the energy is just relentless that, of course, you know, every now and again, there might not be something that quite works for you. The editing style to this film, I'd say, isn't as chaotic as a film like Natural Born Killers, which is a film that I love, by the way. But it's probably a leg below it. And I would also describe some of the film's presentation to be a bit Tarantino-esque, just in terms of how the dialogue and the characters are written, and also how animated the editing style and some of the presentation is. But in my opinion, I would say that a Tarantino film is superior, mostly because of the fact that not only does it just have all those great characters that you would expect from him, but there is also a emphasis on the importance of the story. Like, Quentin Tarantino is also known as an excellent storyteller. And this film, as I mentioned earlier, again, the story is definitely something that's sidelined in this film. It's not something that you're really supposed to be invested in. And that's fine, because it's something that's intentional. But, you know, it's always a plus to have an awesome story along with really entertaining characters with your film. But yeah, either way, I had a blast with this film. This film seems to be insanely rewatchable. And I love the fact that I wasn't bored for a second throughout this film's entire runtime. So I'm going to give Snatch a soft 8 out of 10. Yeah, Snatch definitely makes me want to watch another Guy Ritchie film. I heard Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was a great one from him, so I might put that one in a Patreon poll sometime soon. But either way, that's all I got to say about Snatch. If you really enjoy what I had to say about the film, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.